Hello there, and welcome. Well, we're going to try to get back on track and get our stuff together. So now I want to talk a little bit about adult classes, mature classes, and another element of it that I think might apply in some cases for high school kids, but really is more of an adult effect. It's called the loose rein. So what's great about teaching adults, aside from the fact that the conversation is about 800 feet higher than it is in a lot of a lot of classes that I've taught, there's expertise in the room. There are people that are interested in the subject and also have training in the subject. And so when you're in the position of leading a group like that, the real challenge is trying to get out of your own way and holding a loose rein in the room. It is necessary to have someone in the room that's sort of the law, because things can get lively. And you do need someone who's there to make sure that the liveliness is still productive. And but I really do think that it's helpful if, when you're teaching a group of adults, you think about them as your coworkers, not as your students per se. When you're teaching adults, you're looking for a cooperative feeling rather than an instructional feeling. Now, every once in a while, you do have to put on the little instructional thing. That's fine, especially if you're talking about editorial things. One of the things that happens in the writing group that I lead is we have a little portion about picking nits, and we discuss grammar and punctuation. As far as I'm concerned, the writer really has the responsibility of making final decisions about that, but it's important to bring them up occasionally just because it's helpful to people. People forget, especially if they haven't studied it in a while. They forget, now where does the comma go in relation to this list, or does the quotation mark go after the punctuation or before the punctuation? Those kind of things. People just don't recall necessarily if they haven't been using them all along and don't necessarily remember their instruction on them. And especially in the groups that I've led, because they're quite a bit older than high school kids. You know, when the Joy Riders first started, they were supposed to be all senior citizens. Now, right now the group isn't that way because we no longer meet at the Joy Center, which is a senior citizens service organization. Now we meet at the Anderson Museum, which is a public museum, and the class is still free, but it's not limited to senior citizens. It's welcome to anybody who wants to participate and is willing to abide by the rules and deal with me. And the rules are pretty simple, and one of the rules is I'm the leader. And so that means that when I say no, you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to do that. But the big thing I try to do is not be too overbearing. I try to be a sort of calm and graceful person who makes room for everybody in the discussion. And that means you occasionally have to be prepared to catch the tiniest little signals that someone's ready to talk, especially someone who's more reticent, who doesn't want to jump in, because those people, oftentimes, the people that are more reticent may have some wonderful ideas, and they're second-guessing their confidence, at least at first with a group, and need to be encouraged to just jump in with both feet. Now, I will say this, I don't know that I do it well all the time. I try. I really do try. And I don't know that I do it well all the time. The other thing I have to pay attention to by using a loose rein is by policing myself as well. Stopping myself from sort of dominating the whole conversation and putting down anybody who suggests something different than I would suggest. I try my best to let people suggest what they really do think will work, because I'm not necessarily the best reader for every writer. I'm not necessarily the person that sees what's best in this discussion. There are going to be people who contribute to the discussion who have vastly wider experience in the area. To give you an example, I have no medical experience at all, but there are nurses in the group, and my family, somehow or another, we're always friends with police officers and medical people. But like the group has these nurses, well, nurses have expertise that really adds to the texture and the power of what's being written. And so I love having them contribute. There are people with life experiences that are so spectacularly unique that when they introduce a thought, you go, oh wow, that is really interesting. I really like the way they think. Even if I disagree with their opinion, I still like hearing it. And so what I try to do is just make sure that nobody owns it. The only person that really owns the discussion is me, and I try to make myself just one of the group, not the leader. I assert my leadership when I feel like there's something that's going to derail us and I need to get it back onto the rails. And I'll talk a little bit more about specific examples of where that can happen in our next episode. So it's a short episode this time, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you see me again, you gorgeous people.